Wisconsin Eye's 2014 election coverage is brought to you by the Wisconsin Hospital Association. For over 90 years, a valued voice for Wisconsin hospitals, supporting high-quality, high-value care in communities like yours.
Wisconsin Eye is at the Brown County Library in Green Bay, interviewing candidates for the 2014 elections. We are interviewing Brian Hackbarth. He's a Republican from Fish Creek. He's running in the 1st Assembly District. Mr. Hackbarth, welcome to Wisconsin Eye.
Thank you very much for having me here today.
And just this programming note, Wisconsin Eye appreciates the support of the Wisconsin Hospital Association, which represents more than 139 hospitals and health systems, for making these candidate interviews possible. Brian, tell us a little bit about you and your qualifications to serve in the Assembly, sir.
I've been involved since I was in college with college government, and then when I got out of college, I got involved with the Business Association. I was president of the Fish Creek Business Association in 2004, and then I got involved in the town board after that and serving in committees and commissions, and I was first elected to the Gibraltar Town Board in April of 2010, and I was recently reelected to my 3rd term there.
On your campaign website, you list the top priority as lower taxes. Which taxes, and how would you bring them down, sir?
The one tax that's really on my radar right now is the personal property tax on small business owners. Mechanics, for example, they pay personal property tax on the wrenches in their operation. Restaurants pay it on the stoves in their kitchens. That's a tax that I'd like to see either repealed or dialed way back.
Okay, thank you very much. One of the key issues as I interview candidates is schools. And let's talk first about vouchers or school choice. Do you support vouchers and school choice?
I've not taken a firm position on that yet, as I'm still learning more about the school voucher system.
Okay.
That's one subject that I'm not well versed in at the moment.
Okay, understand. How about the issue, which is also a K-12 issue, on the Common Core standards? Deb, taking a position on those?
As a delegate for the Republican Party from Door County, I did vote on the party's position at the 8th Congressional Caucus, and I did vote with the rest of the caucus to oppose Common Core at the moment. So,
you think Wisconsin should withdraw from Common Core?
That is, I'll let my vote speak for itself, so yes.
Okay. Question on health care. As you know, the federal government told all states, if you expand your MA benefits, we'll pay the cost at least for the first few years. Governor Walker and the leaders of the Senate and the Assembly said thanks but no thanks. Do you think that was a wise decision? I
think it was a very wise decision, and I applaud their decision on that. It sounds good in the short term, and it would be good for a year or two, but the government, it'll turn into an unfunded mandate. And being a local government guy, I've experienced unfunded mandates, and you know, pretty quick, the federal government, 3 years from now, they'll stop providing funding and then leave Wisconsin to figure out how to pay for it. So.
Okay. Coming from Fish Creek, you know how important good roads are to get people up to Door County.
Yes.
But there's a projected $650 million deficit in the State Department of Transportation budget for the next 2 years. Should we cut back on some of those road building and maintenance programs? Should we raise taxes, or how should we fill that gap?
Well, I think the devil's in the details when it comes to numbers. When I got on the Gibraltar Town Board, I took the no silver bullet approach, I like to call it, and I like to dive down into the numbers and figure out where the problems are. I'd like to have my cake and have it be calorie free at the same time. So if there's a way that we can do all of the road projects that need to be done, because there's a lot of areas, in particular in my district, where we really need the state highways repaired, and we need them repaired now.
Yes.
But at the same time, we have to balance the budget. So I guess that would be my answer.
Would you consider raising either what you and I pay in gas taxes or what you and I pay to register our vehicles?
I think there's a better solution than raising taxes. And without having the full detailed budget in front of me, I can't tell you what that is, but there's usually an answer, a solution of some sort.
Okay, because it's such a timely subject, I'm asking all candidates this. Your reaction to Judge Krebs' reaction on same-sex marriages, Brian?
I have no reaction to it. It's turned into a federal issue. I think it was a federal district court judge, correct?
Yes. She's based in Madison.
And I think right now it's just wait and see, and the courts are going to be handling the matter with the district attorney, or not the district attorney, but the attorney general.
Attorney General.
Yes.
Okay. Two candidates for Attorney General say that first offense drunken driving should be a crime. Do you have a position on that?
I don't have a firm position on it, but I do think there is a difference between someone that has a .08 and someone that has a .2 blood alcohol level on their first offense. That's, in my opinion, dramatically different. You know, somebody has 3 drinks and maybe they don't realize they're right at the limit versus somebody who's been drinking for hours and hours and hours. So.
Okay. Being debated, and since you manage a restaurant, you probably have an opinion on this, and being debated in Madison and Washington is the idea of raising the minimum wage. What your position?
I think there's a better way to improve the quality of life for the workforce and get wages up. I prefer the free market solution. Allow job creators and businesses to have reasonable taxes and grow their businesses, and supply and demand in the marketplace to increase the wages versus the government coming in and saying $10 an hour. And a wage increase like that would be not good for our small businesses right now. The vast majority of the minimum wage employees are high school students or people that are 18 and 19 getting their first job, and if they work the job for 6 months to a year, they're typically paid substantially more than that. You know, in our operation, minimum wage is used for the first 2 weeks that a person is working.
Really?
But those costs would be very dramatic when you take, especially in a high turnover business like a restaurant. Restaurants across the country, I think the average turnover is 3 months. And to have all of your training done at the substantially higher, I think I'd like to see the employees have to work for a while too before getting the $10.
That fascinates me. Do you have to turn over your restaurant staff 3 or 4 times in a year completely?
I last time I sat down and calculated it, I'm at about 2 years, so I'm 8 times the national average on that.
Right?
So I do a really good job with employee retention, but I spend a lot of time working on that. I find good quality people, and then when I get them in my door, I just try to be a really good employer to them. So, and I treat them right. If you can treat your employees right, they'll treat you right.
Another priority that you say on your campaign website is housing needs. Do you want to explain that?
Yeah, I've been working to help form the Door County Housing Partnership up in Door County, and I'm the vice president of that nonprofit at the moment. And we have, up in our district, we have a lot of out-of-state money and a lot of money from Milwaukee and the Valley that comes up to our area, and it raises the value of the homes beyond what the workforce in our area can afford.
Right.
I have employees that make what would be a decent living in Green Bay, and they could be able to afford a house, but they get up by us and they can't, because that same house that would be $70,000 in Green Bay is $190,000 in Door County. So it's a matter of finding solutions to that, and one solution we've been working on is a nonprofit that purchases the land, holds the land, and allows the individual to still purchase the house and own the house and the improvements. So they still own it, they still pay taxes on it, but by taking the land out of the equation, it makes it more affordable for them.
How many housing units have you been able to turn? Are you still working on the first few?
We're still working on the first few at the moment.
Oh, that's pretty interesting. Okay, is there any other issue I haven't asked about that is important to your campaign, Brian?
Well, addressing the local needs in my district and very small targeted important items to various municipalities, including highways, roundabouts, for example. A lot of the older people in my area do not like the roundabouts. And there was an effort, it unfortunately didn't pass, to give local control over vetoing or blocking roundabouts in certain communities. Sister Bay is one of the oldest per capita communities in the country. And those roundabouts, while they're fun for the 20-something and 30-something year olds to drive through, for somebody who's 75, it can be a little challenging. They'd rather have a stoplight. So,
okay, good example. Do you want to highlight any differences between you and your opponents in the primary?
Well, the biggest difference between myself and my opponents is my experience. We need to get a representative to Madison that can get some of these things done for us. I have nothing but good things to say about all three of the other candidates. They're all very nice gentlemen, and I've gotten to know them at many campaign events over the last 4 months. But they don't have the experience that I bring to the table. And when I got on the town board, I was able to get a lot of things done there. Got a lot of things done as the president of the business association, representing over 140 businesses. And I want to take that experience to Madison to get the things done in my district we need to get done. Clean water is another important issue in Kewaunee County area, and that's going to spill over into Brown County, or Door County in the near future if we don't address that. And I think all of the other three candidates, all of us feel the same on these things. It's a matter of who can get the job done.
I understand. Very good. Okay. Brian Hackbarth of Fish Creek is a Republican candidate in the 1st Assembly District. The primary is August 12th. Brian, thanks for talking to Wisconsin Eye.
Hey, thank you very much for having me today.
My pleasure. Thank you.